This Indiana Fever team never really seemed in the game. Never really seemed like they had a chance to win. They took the lead for a small little second in the third quarter, but even then...
Professional basketball offers no hiding places before a scheduled break. The final image a team puts on film before the mid-season showcase lingers in the minds of voters, fans, and opponents for days. For the Indiana Fever, that lingering image is an 88-75 defeat at the hands of the Golden State Valkyries, a game that exposed structural flaws in their half-court execution and highlighted a glaring perimeter shooting slump. The Fever walk into the break carrying the weight of a 13-point loss defined by stagnant offense, visible frustration, and a bench rotation that failed to hold its ground. Welcome back to WNBA Pro, your destination for sharp, objective, and analytical women's basketball coverage. We strip away the noise to examine the film, the statistics, and the underlying strategic shifts across the league. If you want precise basketball breakdowns without the manufactured fluff, hit the subscribe button, tap the like, and ring the notification bell. The landscape of the season is shifting, and we are breaking down exactly how the Valkyries dismantled the Fever, the statistical realities of the box score, and the strategic questions hanging over Indiana as they head to Chicago. To understand the specific friction on the court, we must first examine the broader context of this matchup. This was not an isolated defeat. The Golden State Valkyries are now officially 3-0 against the Indiana Fever this season. They beat the Fever in the regular season opener in overtime. They defeated them on the second night of a back-to-back road trip, and they have now secured a double-digit victory right before the All-Star break. The Valkyries have established themselves as a formidable force in the Western Conference, and their defensive blueprint against Indiana has proven effective in 3 consecutive meetings.
This Indiana Fever team never really seemed in the game. Never really seemed like they had a chance to win. They took the lead for a small little second in the third quarter, but even then, didn't really feel like they were going to win the game. If anything, it felt like the Golden State Valkyrie are throwing the game away, but the Indiana Fever just couldn't pull it off.
The implications of this regular season sweep extend directly into the autumn. The Fever currently sit a game and a half behind the Valkyries in the Western Conference standings because Golden State has secured the 3-0 head-to-head advantage. They officially own the tiebreaker. If these two franchises finish the regular season with identical records, Golden State will receive the higher playoff seed. This means Indiana must actively outpace the Valkyries in the win column during the second half of the season to secure home court advantage in a potential postseason matchup. The coaching staff must find an answer for Natalie Nakase's defensive schemes and Tiffany Hayes' perimeter containment because the current strategy has resulted in 3 distinct failures. The tactical difficulties Indiana faces against Golden State were most evident during a stagnant second quarter. The Fever managed to score only 12 points in that 10-minute frame. When a roster featuring 3 All-Star starters produces 12 points in a quarter, it points to a structural breakdown in offensive design. The Valkyries deployed a grinding, physical half-court defense. They hedged hard on screens, disrupted passing lanes, and forced the Fever into late-clock, isolation-heavy possessions. This defensive pressure exacerbated the primary statistical storyline of the Indiana Fever's season: Caitlin Clark's declining three-point efficiency. Clark finished this game shooting 1 of 8 from beyond the arc. That is a 12.5% conversion rate, marking the lowest three-point shooting performance of her 2026 season. For a player whose entire offensive ecosystem is built upon the threat of the deep pull-up jumper, a 1 for 8 shooting night fundamentally alters the geometry of the court. When the deep shot is not falling, opposing defenders navigate under screens, clog the driving lanes, and compress the spacing required for the interior players to operate.
Minutes restriction is stat management. Shout out to Venom. Get better, Venom. Speedy recovery. Stat management. We're managing CC stats. Another way I know she's managing not only CC stats, but trying to get Kelsey Mitchell some amplified stats. Kelsey Mitchell gets put back in the game with 38 seconds left and comes in and shoots a quick shot as if we're trying to
We must place this shooting performance into the context of the full season. During her first 5 games, Clark was shooting an efficient 44% from three-point range. Entering this matchup against the Valkyries, that season average had steadily dropped to 33%. This statistical regression connects directly to her ongoing physical management. Clark has navigated a restricted return following a persistent back condition and a recent groin issue. Head coach Stephanie White noted earlier this month that Clark's burst and movement patterns were visibly improving, and the interior numbers support that assessment. Clark shot an efficient 4 of 6 from inside the arc against Golden State, demonstrating that her mid-range game and rim attacks remain viable. However, the three-point jump shot relies heavily on sustained leg strength and core stability. As fatigue accumulates over the course of a demanding schedule, the lift on the perimeter shot often diminishes, leading to the flat misses observed in this contest. The physical toll and the offensive struggles clearly culminated in a moment of visible frustration during the third quarter. Despite the poor perimeter shooting, Clark was beginning to find a playmaking rhythm and orchestrate the offense. Just as the unit appeared to find a pulse, the coaching staff signaled for a substitution, citing the mandated 25-minute restriction. Cameras captured Clark reacting with distinct anger, slapping the scorer's table as she exited the floor.
Caitlin Chen destroys Ty Harris off the bench. This game wasn't close, folks. This game wasn't close. Let's get into it, shall we? Like the video, hype the video. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe to the channel, I greatly appreciate it. 75-88, the Indiana Fever lose by 13. Never for 1 second feels like we were in this game. Now, our player of the game tonight was Sophie Cunningham. Our player of the game tonight was Sophie Cunningham. Kelsey Mitchell.
This substitution pattern has ignited a wave of dialogue across the sports internet. Fans are actively dissecting the rotational logic, posing serious questions regarding the execution of this medical mandate. The frustration stems from the ensuing fourth-quarter rotation. After sitting Clark during a competitive third-quarter stretch to preserve her minutes, the coaching staff placed her back on the floor to play the entire, uninterrupted 10 minutes of the fourth quarter while the game was slipping away. Are analysts justified in wondering if this minute allocation is counterproductive to physical recovery? Observers are questioning why a player requiring physical management would sit during the flow of a comeback, only to log 10 consecutive minutes in the final frame. This perceived inconsistency has led to fan speculation that the minutes restriction is functioning more as arbitrary stat management than a cohesive medical strategy. Similar analytical questions are being directed toward the scoring output of Kelsey Mitchell. Mitchell finished the game with 20 points in 35 minutes, shooting 7 of 16 from the field. She initiated the offense with a strong first quarter, carrying the scoring burden while the perimeter dried up for her teammates. However, as the Valkyries tightened their defensive rotations in the middle quarters, Mitchell's impact waned.
How do you just do a period? Dude, it doesn't matter who's on your team. It doesn't matter who's on your team. Shout out to Retro. I mean, you can get Retro, Colleen. Shout out to you guys. Victoria, Moonlight Garner, Dancing in the Moonlight. Jolene, you could get those 5 and you're going to score more than 12 with them. Shout out to you guys. Appreciate all the support. Shout out to the venue. You can't even score 12 with Stephanie White, man. Kelsey Mitchell playing 35.
It was not until the closing minutes, with the deficit holding steady in double digits, that Mitchell began aggressively accumulating points again. This specific scoring distribution has sparked debate among independent evaluators. Are fans accurately wondering if Mitchell's late-game offensive surge prioritizes individual rhythm over team execution when the outcome is largely decided? While a veteran scorer must look for her shot, the overall offensive flow suffered. The team recorded only 14 assists. When an offense that relies on fluid passing devolves into late-clock isolation plays, the efficiency drops, and the Valkyries were willing to concede contested jumpers to Mitchell if it meant keeping the rest of the roster out of sync. The standout performance for Indiana came from the interior. Aaliyah Boston delivered a highly efficient effort amidst the surrounding offensive friction. Boston recorded 15 points on 6 of 11 shooting from the floor. She even stretched the defense, converting 2 of her 3 attempts from beyond the arc. She secured 7 rebounds, registered 2 steals, and played with physical intent. Most notably, Boston was the only player in the entire Indiana Fever starting lineup to finish the game with a positive plus-minus rating, logging a +1 in her 25 minutes of action.
Mikayla Timpson, 19 points for Mikayla Timpson, 6 points, 5 boards. Mikayla Timpson played fine as well. Ty Harris. She played. This was disgusting today. This was no effort, man. This team put in absolutely no effort today. They didn't care. They didn't have the will to win. Natalie Nakaze, of course, just whipping Stephanie White's ass as always. Again, we're going to go into a lot of these games. If Kelly Sue Mitchell doesn't go off, Caitlin Clark doesn't go off, we're not winning. If Sophie Cunningham doesn't go crazy off the bench, we're not winning. We're going to get outcoached consistently.
Boston's efficiency highlights a strategic adjustment the Fever must address during the upcoming break. When the perimeter shot is missing and the opposing defense is aggressively trapping the guards, the offense must deliberately funnel the basketball inside. Boston proved she could score against the Golden State front line, yet she only registered 11 field goal attempts. Capitalizing on her interior advantage is a necessary countermeasure that the coaching staff must emphasize in the second half of the season. The inability to sustain offense was severely compounded by a bench rotation that failed to hold its ground. The statistical drop-off when the starters rested was glaring. Mikayla Timpson finished with a -14 rating. Monique Billings posted a -11. Tiasha Harris recorded a -11. Lexi Hull, continuing a recent offensive slump, provided just 2 points in 22 minutes. Over her last 2 games, Hull is averaging a single point per contest. A professional roster cannot survive a physical opponent when the secondary unit operates at a severe deficit. The bench provided the Valkyries with their best scoring opportunities all night, allowing Golden State to build separation while the Indiana starters recovered on the sideline. This brings the Indiana Fever to a critical juncture as they enter the All-Star break. The team currently holds a 15-10 record. They have achieved notable milestones, including defeating the defending champion Las Vegas Aces 3 times in an 8-day span. They are sending 3 starters, Clark, Mitchell, and Boston, to the All-Star Game in Chicago on July 25th. Clark will step onto a national stage as a starter for the 3rd consecutive year, representing the franchise in front of the entire basketball world. However, the true value of this mid-season break extends far beyond the exhibition showcase. The upcoming 8 to 10 days provide a mandatory window for physical recovery. This rest period is essential for a roster accumulating wear and tear from a dense schedule and challenging travel logistics. For Caitlin Clark, this break offers the opportunity to rest the chronic back condition and the groin issue that have necessitated the recent minutes restriction. The medical staff is relying on this extended downtime to help her regain the leg strength and mobility required to elevate her three-point shooting back to its early season standard. The mechanics of her jump shot are sound when she is healthy. The extended rest is the prescribed remedy for the current statistical slump. The coaching staff also faces a mandate during this break. They must utilize the time to diagnose the specific tactical issues that have resulted in 3 consecutive losses to the Golden State Valkyries. The defensive scheme against Tiffany Hayes requires adjustment. The offensive sets must be retooled to generate cleaner looks when the initial pick and roll is denied. The questions surrounding minute management, perimeter shooting consistency, and bench depth must be answered before the regular season resumes in August. The Indiana Fever have proven they possess the talent to compete with the elite rosters in the WNBA. They have also demonstrated specific vulnerabilities that disciplined opponents will continue to exploit. The second half of the season will test their ability to adapt, recover, and execute under pressure. I want to hear your analytical takeaways from this matchup and the first half of the season. Drop into the comment section and provide your assessment. Do you view Clark's three-point shooting slump as a mechanical issue that rest will fix, or a deeper strategic problem? Are fans justified in their speculation regarding the rotational decisions and the visible frustration on the sideline? How should the coaching staff adjust their offensive sets to better utilize Aaliyah Boston? Ensure you subscribe to WNBA Pro, tap the like button, and remain locked in for our continued objective analysis. We will be watching from the first second of the second half. See you on the next film breakdown.